Hello, our beautiful, faithful listeners. This week, Ken and I talk about Bonnaroo turning into Bummeroo, our futile attempts at trying to salvage this trip, but our plans for the future in order to make up for it. Thanks for tuning in. We've missed you.
I don't fear no man, but I'ma still put 60 in this Drake. Set it off like Queen Latifah, nigga playing with my cake. Split the bag up with my brother, 50-50 what we made. I can't let no nigga eat that ain't contribute to this plate. Run it up, I just need...
Welcome back, Pretty and Pride listeners. I am your host, Kiki, but I'm not the same Kiki I've always been. I'm a different person than I was just a short 2 weeks ago. My hopes and my dreams, they were crushed. How are you doing, Ken?
Well, I'm your host, Ken.
Yeah, you are.
It's been a really rough week. It was devastation. Pure devastation.
You guys, 7 months of planning.
Poof. Gone. In a slow trickle, too, because we'll get into what happened, but...
Bonnaroo is scheduled for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. We had a Thursday show, and then they canceled it on Friday before the shows even began for the rest of the weekend. Before our shows began. Maybe some shows were happening, but...
Yeah, I think what people need to understand is that the shows start at 2. So we wake up around like breakfast time. We go into Bonnaroo to do morning yoga in the VIP area.
Yeah.
You know, we're like getting ready for the day. We get our morning coffee. We go back to the campsite.
Sun's kind of shining. It's a nice day. It's not the skin temp outside.
Go back to our campsite, and it starts to kind of trickle rain. So we're inside the RV, which is great because we, have a lot of protection from the rain. But when they canceled, it was more of they kicked everyone out of Bonnaroo at maybe 1 o'clock.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Outeroo is where everyone stays, and Bonnaroo is where all the shows happen.
Yeah.
So and the food and all that stuff. Some of that's in Outeroo, but Bonnaroo is where the concerts are actually happening.
Yeah. So Thursday, the first day of concerts, they don't really start the sets until later in the evening.
I think we saw 2 shows, maybe 2.5 when you guys went to Wisp.
Yeah, they start them later in the evening, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're all scheduled to start around 2 o'clock. So after doing our yoga, we're at the RV. They are announcing on these loudspeakers, everyone needs to seek shelter, storms in the area, leave Bonnaroo immediately. And so from our vantage point, it's raining. And so as the day goes on, we're getting, updates.
It's delayed.
Bonnaroo's closed, seek shelter. So they're pushing all of these sets back. But because we have the app downloaded, what it's actually doing is it's actually reminding us for all of the people that I had liked in the lineup, Matt Campion is scheduled to start in 15 minutes. Okay, well, we're all kicked out of Bonnaroo, so that's not really... So it's just reminding me. And so it wasn't until much later that we got the notification that it was canceled. So, but all day hearing this announcement of do not try to come into Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo is not open. Seek shelter. And then having that cancellation notice come through was
pretty bad. Now, I think that we're going to have to take you through this journey of how this really was pretty much the worst vacation I've ever been on. Because it was pretty much, if you think about the schedule, first of all, to set it up, it was basically, we did a bunch of work, and then we stayed at a motel, and then we came home. So that's really the outcome of this vacation. This 6 to 7 day trip was just work, motel, home. Because we fly to Nashville, and we get in late. We don't get to our original place we're staying until Wednesday, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
We get the RV Wednesday evening, but before that, we're doing grocery hauls. I mean, we walked to Waffle House, actually. That's the first thing we did. Wednesday morning. We walked a 40-minute walk to Waffle House. That was actually fantastic, okay? That should have been the start of a great vacation.
Yeah. It would have been.
It would have been.
Would have been.
But we get the RV, and we sleep in a Walmart parking lot.
No. You can't just say that.
Okay. So
we had to get the RV on Wednesday, but our campsite did not
doesn't
open until Thursday.
So we wanted to be close to the campsite so that we could pull in.
We didn't have a choice because if you think of any industrial or residential area, most places are not allowing you to just park your RV on the street.
So we slept in a Walmart parking lot.
We needed to sleep somewhere with this RV that allowed us to. Our options were either leave the RV at a Walmart parking lot and still sleep in our accommodations and drive in the morning, or go do all of the shopping and then sleep in the RV close to the campsite.
So fine. Before we camped out in Walmart, we went to Costco. Okay, we bought a bunch of crap from Costco, Diet Cokes, Red
Energy
Bulls,
drinks,
etc.
Hydration, like liquid IV, food,
coconut
snacks.
water.
Yeah, we were just getting ready for 4 days of camping.
Exactly. Then we go to Walmart and spend a bunch of other money at Walmart for the things that you don't need in ginormous warehouse sizes. Now, even before we were in Tennessee, we had things ordered. Our travel companions had things ordered like that. We were going to have an outdoor living space outside of our RV. So tents, fabrics, pillows were being made. I mean, the work that went into creating an outdoor space.
Yeah, you can find that on our socials.
Yes.
You can see pictures of what it looked like. But we were decorating our campsite.
Decorating the campsite. So money, time, resources,
energy.
a lot of it went into just the prep.
Yes.
And then we slept in a Walmart parking lot. Okay. Now, in the middle of the night, I think Ken got up and said, I heard someone knocking on the door. I think that was in the Walmart parking lot. And the cops were outside.
Yeah.
Because people were, so whatever. I actually didn't sleep that bad. Now, it was my first time camping. It was okay.
You were honestly a champ through this whole thing.
I know. To everyone's surprise, I didn't complain that much.
To everyone's surprise, well, to my surprise, you were taking things a lot better than I was, I think.
So Thursday.
Well, on the outside, I don't know how you were
On the outside, we'll see. Still raging. On Thursday, we get to our campground. We get parked. We spend hours essentially setting up the outdoor living space.
Yeah.
And no one from the campground, Bonnaroo staff, could figure out how to hook up our water to the RV. So while we have the sleeping accommodations of an RV, we don't have the facilities of an RV, and we still have to use the public portable restrooms. Now, granted, they were nicer. It was a VIP area, so it wasn't, quite a porta potty, but it was a fancy porta potty. Okay. Still, I feel like and the showers as well. But you're still showering where the public showers, so it wasn't that great. So that was Thursday. We set everything up.
Yep.
We're porta pottying, and then we get to see. I saw Marcus King and Luke Combs, and you saw.
I saw Marcus King, Wisp, and Luke Combs. And someone else.
I don't know who else, but I did stop by Dom Dalla. I left. I couldn't handle it.
I'd have to look at the schedule, and I deleted the app because I was so tired of getting reminders the entire weekend about sets that weren't happening.
So then we go to bed, and we hear Insane Clown Posse until like 2:30 in the morning. First of all, it sounded dope.
It sounded like we should have been there, actually.
Freaking good, actually.
Yeah,
but
I was really
we were
pissed.
like, no, we have a whole weekend ahead of us. We can't waste it on ICP.
Crash out night one.
So now, of course, in retrospect, I feel like
Yeah.
I would have totally taken advantage of seeing everyone I could have.
Yes.
Had I known
Same.
that we had no hope.
It
for a
sounded
future.
like, first of all, they were not, so right next to our campsite, they had what they are doing for the first time, which was the Infinity Stage, which was meant to be like the club party, EDM centered stage. So all of those acts were like right next to our, doom, 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 just like all night. And then like away from that, so like the second closest stage to us was the stage, the Insane Clown. So that's how loud
It was really loud.
and also how much enjoyment I could hear from the set.
Yeah, it sounded really good. It sounded
away.
so good that the next day I looked up some of their music and I was like, this doesn't sound anything like what I was hearing last night. This sounds really lame, actually. So maybe
walking around Thursday and seeing the juggalos and juggalettes in their makeup and like, you know, it's like, wow. I don't understand this.
Yeah,
but,
and we haven't, like, the other thing is, like, we were VIPs, so we got a VIP welcome gift, we got a VIP welcome hour where we got free food.
Yeah.
Man, we were packing it on starting day one.
We were strategizing. You're in that line, I'm in this line, you're in that line.
Get all of our little foodies.
Then we'll get our food, we'll come over here, we only need this. So yeah, it was a good strat.
We got our locker set up. Like, I mean, we were just really setting the tone for what we thought was going to be a great weekend.
Our travel companions had booked foot massages for Saturday as well, which they thought was something would be in Bonnaroo. No, it was something all the way in Outeroo. So they were already dreading this trek they were going to have to make. So as after yoga, our friend goes and asks like where this place is and how to get there.
Yeah.
Man, the logistics of all the additional things that were planned for that weekend, having to like cancel them and figure out what's going to happen with them. It's just...
So Friday we go into the VIP section and we do yoga, which was actually very lovely. It was a very lovely
nice,
Friday AM. Get the bowels moving. Get some movement in, you know. It was great. I texted you today. I said, remember when we were walking through with a freshly purchased cold brew?
Yep.
Life, nothing but life and hope ahead of us.
Tyler was going to perform that
Tyler was going to perform that
night.
night.
The day was about to be
It was going to be
phenomenal.
Lit. It was going to be awesome. Ugh. So we're sitting in the RV. We're just, past the time, waiting for the shows to start.
No, we played a game.
Oh, we did. That was
we played
so
a game
fun.
Called like Neanderthal Poetry.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was really fun.
But we were passing time,
yeah.
trying to wait until it was time to get ready to head out and start partying all day. And by partying, we mean soberly watching people perform.
Yeah. Also, Kiki has this thing where, she briefly mentioned that we walked 40 minutes to Waffle House. What Kiki's not telling you is that it's usually guilt trip and convincing and coercion to get us to do things that involve fitness as motivation. So we are playing this poetry game. We finished that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. Okay, we're literally like maybe
at the end of the campsite,
40 feet away from what like the close porta potties are, toilets. Kiki goes, let's go to the other toilets. They're nicer. They're on the fucking opposite end of this campsite. So I'm like, okay, like, let me go check out these campgrounds. Like, I guess I'll walk this far distance, go to the bathroom, come out. It's pouring. Okay. Now I have to trek all the way
far
back through this campsite.
It was really bad.
Wet. Like,
it was annoying. Yeah.
It's really annoying. I was just like, oh my God, this is the last time get convinced.
And
like,
they were nicer, but they weren't that much nicer. They weren't a walk in the rain nicer for sure. So
No.
Okay, so we're waiting in the RV. Anyways, we get the announcement that it's canceled. So now we have decisions to make.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do with the rest of our time? So, mind you, there's no reception at this place because everyone's on their cell phone. So even if you wanted to look at a new flight, what's going on. First of all, Bonnaroo was posting all the announcements on their Instagram. I don't have reception to look at your Instagram. And so that was really annoying logistically. But whatever. So we're like, okay, we're trying to even figure out reception to figure out what we could do. And so one of our companions texts someone out of this area, like back in our hometown, and it's like, can you look at any updates that you can pass on to us because no one has internet here? And so we were able to get some updates that way. And then basically, long story short, for Fridays,
I want to say that like with the announcement that eventually came, first of all, it came through as like a notification in the app. So I gasped audibly.
Yes.
Everyone heard me go like literally like devastated. It's 9:00 right now. Tyler's set should have started.
Yeah.
And so like, this is like, what the fuck is going to happen at this point? So then I go to their website and read the full thing. And so part of their announcement included letting us know that like while we're in our RV and the sets are canceled, what is happening in probably the other campgrounds of Outeroo is that there's probably flooding happening. People's campsites,
For sure.
like cars, like they're probably dealing with extremely terrible weather and camping conditions. And so Bonnaroo had added like while we're working, like basically people's campsites are in really bad shape. Like if you can just like hang out on Friday night and then like figure things out Saturday, that's pretty much like the tone of what they were trying to get at.
Okay,
so yeah.
We get the notice that they canceled the whole thing. Absolutely devastating. Now,
devastating.
A series of things happened, and yeah, so everyone else's was flooding, which is why I was able to keep somewhat of a positive attitude. I'm like, at least we have the RV. But the problem is that they just hooked up our water that day, that Friday,
oh my
finally.
God, yeah.
But we didn't. You need to hook up to have the water that you've used dumped, or else you can't use it anymore. So our RV basically was at capacity so we weren't able to shower there, we weren't able to use the bathroom, and eventually we weren't even able to wash dishes. Yeah. We weren't able to do anything within the facilities of our RV while it was pouring down rain because they never hooked up the water, number one, so we weren't able to do anything the first day. The second day we weren't able to use it because after they hooked up the water, they needed to dump it, and they weren't planning to do that until later in the evening. Which
no, they weren't planning to do it until Friday, but because of the...
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. They hooked up the water on Friday.
Yeah.
So they were planning to do it later that same day Friday. But that, of course, never happened because they canceled the show. Yeah. The entire thing. Now, once they canceled it, at first they were trying to keep the VIP campground area facilities as best they could. With the mud and everything in stock. But at some point, they completely gave up.
Yes.
So it's like freaking, I know that we didn't have it as bad as others, so I'm trying to temper it down. But for the bourgeoisie, it was very unacceptable, the state of these porta potties, these fancy porta potties. And it's 2 a.m., it's raining, it's muddy, it's disgusting, it's scary out there, and we can't use our own RV bathroom. So while we had the RV and I was grateful for that, it was still like suffering through not like you didn't have an RV.
And I was the person who was driving it. So the decision on like essentially when to leave, what to do, how to do it was dependent on like basically when do I want to drive this thing. And we mentioned that like we had set up this outdoor living space. So as it was raining throughout the day, our colleagues noticed that like the pop-up tent we had purchased had collapsed because of the water that was pooling on it.
Yeah.
And so they had gone outside and tried to do some quick
damage
repairs,
because this is before we knew that we weren't going to be able to use it ever again.
Yeah, so it was before cancellation. At some point, once it was canceled, it was pretty much like, okay, I want us to basically get ready to leave as soon as we can tomorrow morning because I don't know what it's going to look like. And I also don't know what the storm is going to turn into, and I don't want to be driving this RV like if the storm continues. So we had to do a full breakdown of this outdoor campsite. Like we're in this, there's 5 of us inside of this RV. Obviously it's not the most roomy thing in the world because it's a fucking vehicle.
And we're crazy people. We packed like so much luggage. We got a picture of the luggage.
So it was a lot of like maneuvering our luggage around.
So we spent all of Friday night and Saturday morning packing and breaking down what we just set up basically the day before.
Yeah.
And then myself and the producer, we realized, we have a locker in the middle of this storm and this mud pit that we had to go get our stuff from. We're like, maybe we could just abandon it. And Ken's like, no, my first Bonnaroo hoodie's in there. So
it's my second Bonnaroo hoodie.
Okay. So we're like, all right, let's see if they'll let us in. Because they had sent an announcement that they reopened Bonnaroo for food. So like, let's see if they let us in.
That's the other thing. People in Bonnaroo who don't have an RV and are just like if you purchased a campsite from Bonnaroo, right? You flew into Nashville, they set up the tent for you. You were dependent on all of the food that was at these stalls. Yeah. Like you didn't have food. Like we were able to go to Walmart and Costco and get a bunch of stuff. But like a lot of these people were depending on every day going and buying $20 worth of fucking fried rice.
The food was expensive, and there was not a nary a vegetable in sight.
So you guys are realizing that our stuff's
there. So we decided to try to go through, and they did let us through. Actually, they were pretty cool about it. Although when we did get, and mind you, walking through, we realized, this had to be canceled because the floor was, the ground was absolutely gross. It was really muddy. There's no way it could support the people like standing on it and waiting for concerts. I was like, it's like a Atreyu and Artax, a never-ending story, falling in the quicksand in the mud. So fine, I see that. And it was fine. We were able to get to locker, although when we were on our way back, they were like, you can't go through. And we're like, well, how are we supposed to get to our campsite? And they're like, okay, you could go through. Like, okay. They were trying to keep the crowd under control.
Yeah.
So we get that, and then the companions that we're traveling with, they're environmental warriors. You know me. I'm throwing everything away and I'm starting new. I'm starting a new life. Okay, I don't have time for this crap. No, they're like,
I'm like, this is trash.
Salvage to donate. I'm like, salvage to donate. We need to salvage this vacation. Like, what the heck are you talking about,
dude? I'm like, this is trash. Like, throw all of these pillows.
Everything away. No, salvage the pillowcase. Now the pillowcases were really nice, but I was like, dude, like I can't. Some of this stuff, and like we need to get, like, I cannot. The work we're putting into to salvage this is insane. Finally, Saturday we go to leave. We get out. We get a Starbucks. That's helping my disposition. So Saturday we leave. Saturday morning.
Our campground, because of where it's located, it is actually very convenient to exit.
Yes.
Like, we don't have lines. We're not, waiting hours to leave these campsites.
Exactly. We actually could just pop out and show them.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I feel like, while it's the worst vacation of my life, it wasn't as bad as other people had it, because we were just able to boop, 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 leave. We stopped by another campground first to see if we could dump there, and they're like, no. Or maybe, anyways.
Yeah. They were full.
So, like, you have to go somewhere else to dump. Anyways, we stop at a Starbucks. People are stranded in that Starbucks. Mind you, the Starbucks bathrooms were really clean. It was nice to go to a bathroom with an actual real 4 walls. But people were actually stranded, probably trying to, and that was something like a theme, I feel like, of our, I'm not going to call it a vacation, whatever that was.
Adventure.
We were not, things were not cost prohibitive for us in terms of, like, we looked at rebooking flights, but it was just kind of like, what's the point? We could go get a hotel. We could redo flights if we needed to. And we still had an RV. So, like, and all of our stuff didn't get ruined. So, like, that was the, like, where I kept trying to lean on. Like, I'm so grateful for that. And also, I felt really bad I remember telling you, like, the acts that were canceled. Like, I know for a lot of people, that was probably, like, such a big moment in their career to book Bonnaroo. And the fact that they weren't able to do that, I'm like, that makes me really sad for them. I actually might, like, not start crying, but, the proverbial tear. So people stranded at Starbucks. Anyway, so we decided we need to go dump. We ended up in an hour
figuring that out because we're big city girls. Okay, we're big city girls. We don't know how RVs work. Where do people go to do this?
The funny part was when they were telling us how to dump. They're like, you shouldn't need to know that because they're gonna do it at Bonnaroo. And then I was like, well, producer, you better pay attention, like, because if something does happen, you're the one that's gonna do it. And as they never dumped at Bonnaroo, we're like, I hope you're paying attention, producer. Now's your time to shine, baby. So
he was not happy. It's like,
yeah, what else are you doing with anyone else's waste?
Yeah, but what? I don't know. It's
what
like,
are we gonna do?
What dude wants to be like, nah, man, you do it?
Well, luckily that didn't happen. What did happen is we ended up at a gas station that was like, no, we don't do that here, but there's some place up there. Everyone by this time is so pissed and being naysayers. They're like, somewhere up the road next to a Dollar Tree, you'll find a place to dump. Okay? One of our companions is calling around. I was like, let's just go up here. It's like next to the Dollar Tree is like a place that sells RVs. And then everyone's like, they're not going to be dumping there. They're selling RVs. I was like, well, if you're selling RVs, I bet you know where to dump. At least, we can ask them. Mind you, they do dumping there. So I literally looked at everyone. I was like, I was right. I want you guys to admit that you're wrong. And it was only $10. So we got that settled. Okay, so so far on this trip, what we've done is we've gone to buy stuff. We've set up a campsite. We did get merch with a concert that never happened. So we set up a campsite. We break down that campsite. We dump waste from an RV. And then we stop by one of our travel companions' family's house to drop off
the donation.
All of our donation stuff. So that's been our trip so far, okay? Now,
you forgot that we saw Luke Combs, who brought out Miranda Lambert and a bunch of other random people.
And some other random guy.
Yeah.
So then we're in the parking lot of this place. We're like, let's try to get closer to Nashville with our RV, okay? So we end up booking a Comfort Inn.
Okay?
And suites. So, and I think it's at this point that we decide, actually the 75% refund they offer that first, we were like, that's not so bad. We're like, actually, it's horrible. Like, you owe me everything because now we've paid for hotel. We paid for all the stuff we can't use. The RV was $6,000. Like, we can't get that money back.
Yeah.
So, because we didn't book that through Bonnaroo. And so it's just a vacation of chores. So we get to this We get to the Comfort Inn. Honestly, at this point, this is the nicest hotel I've ever stayed at. Like, first of all, they had forensic files. They had AC. They had indoor plumbing. So I'm like, actually, I love this place. It's in the parking lot of a nightclub that looks like you wouldn't go there, and a bar that we did go to. So we get 2 rooms. So we get 2 rooms at this Comfort Inn. We try to fit the groceries we did keep into our thing.
Yeah. Empty the RV basically of all the groceries, all of our luggage. Take up half of these parking spots in this Comfort Inn. Pile it into our hotel room and figure out.
Finally shower and wash our faces with proper fixtures.
Yeah. Showering, they had showers there, but like they're so small.
And it was hot. It was so hot.
Yeah.
And like you couldn't, but you need to put your lotion on. You need to put your clothes on before you leave the shower. And you definitely have to wear shower shoes.
Yeah.
And they were clean, but they weren't that clean because other people were using them, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, and so you're like trying to go around this shower and like not touch anything.
Yeah.
And they didn't have enough shelving for you to put your stuff. So you're like gingerly trying to put, and then you have to wear 2 shoes to the shower. It was hell. It was
yeah.
It was
I
hell.
feel like the reality for me at least is like if you're willing to fork over the amount of money to camp in that campsite that has those facilities, like you probably are not someone who's just like, it's okay to raw dog my feet in the shower for this weekend and like I'm fine with just kind of like taking my risk with germs. You're probably, part of the bourgeoisie, as you like to say, that are like, ugh. This is gross.
It was gross. It actually would have been awesome to use our RV shower. That's where it really would have been awesome. Still never got to shower in that $6,000 rental. So that's, in terms of the Bonnaroo, we did other things that weekend, but in terms of the Bonnaroo wrap-up experience, we spent time in the Comfort Inn watching Forensic Files, TikTok and Judge Judy, 3-minute increments. And then
we went to another Waffle House.
We went, we can get into the restaurant we went to, because I do want to talk about that. And we went shopping where I got these sunglasses, and then it was time to leave.
Outlet mall, which was very nice. Cute little outlet mall looking thing.
And then Monday, 4:30, we got on a plane and we finally came home and left that vacation. And the worst part was I remember telling Ken, and this did come up this week too, where I'm just like, you're going to get back and people are going to be like, how was your trip? You have to relive this. So I'm like, I need to make new friends. I need to start a new life, new job. I don't want to talk about this ever again. Literally the worst trip of my life. And I still know it was way worse for other people. But like, not even in terms of just unmet expectations, but in terms of the fact that, like I said, it was just days of chores and then a motel.
Yeah.
And then
you're
home.
in a place that you would not otherwise want to be at, save for the fact that you were going for this event that's not happening.
Right.
Like, it's not like we were able to do anything else equally spectacular to make up the fact that we took time off of work. We spent and invested a lot of time getting there. And
so long, such a long trip.
We're waiting for this. So, yeah, for me, I think like I'll wrap up by saying that like for me, it was the most disappointing for 2 reasons. One, I really haven't been to a music festival. Well, I say that actually, but I have been to music festivals. But like, this would have been my 3rd time going to Bonnaroo, but it would have been a gap of 10 years since I had been at Bonnaroo. So I was not only really excited about the lineup, I was really excited to like introduce it to you and the producer. Obviously, this was like the worst experience for both of you.
It was pretty bad.
In what, like, for me is, well, I enjoy music festivals, so I guess you have to start there. I don't think producer likes music festivals, number one, so that wasn't helping the situation.
I think also this one is one that required a significant amount of work, even outside of the cancellation, right? Like,
it is an actual festival. Yes, it is not like the music shows and
that we've been to, where it's like a 3-day lineup, but we stay at a hotel and we bounce on over, and then like we're going to do when we go to Camp Flognaw.
Yeah,
like that's it definitely takes a lot less
logistics,
planning and logistical. Yeah,
it's definitely very, very different. But like, there's really nothing like Bonnaroo that I've attended in all of my festivals. And they do historically have always done a really good job with not only getting a really good lineup, but also doing really good with the schedule. And you mentioned it while we were there, but like the people who attend Bonnaroo and work at Bonnaroo, like everyone is very positive.
Yeah.
Which is just in general, like there's not a lot of pretension around like what you're wearing, what you look like, what you're doing, who you're seeing, the music you're enjoying. Like everyone's just kind of there enjoying this festival. And so to me, I feel like Bonnaroo is my favorite music festival. And obviously I've been 3 times now, but only seen music at 2 of them. So I was really disappointed at the unmet expectations of that and the fact that like this was going to be the most elevated experience that I would have had at Bonnaroo. And in some ways I don't feel like I really got to actually experience that because
no, we sure didn't.
Everything kind of descended into chaos pretty quickly as opposed to, getting to enjoy the fact that like we're really close and like the festival, like how does that impact the festival, or like how does it impact the fact that we have AC and stuff like that. So
yeah, the AC was kicking. That was really helping.
That was nice.
And then to top it off, I don't know if you guys could tell, we got sick.
That's the other, just cherry on top of this fucking shit pie. This is the second time I have gone with this group of people to meet them for a music festival, and one of the same person at both festivals has arrived to the vacation for us with a cold that she then passes on directly to the rest of us. I will say that I made a little quip. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I should just stop being an asshole, but like...
Can't help it.
I can't help it, truly. But because we were so disappointed, one of my friends and I are deciding on trying to hit up another festival to kind of have our unmet expectations met. And my other friend who got us sick is planning to like go start doing some travel, and I had made a joke about, oh, well, if you can't come, maybe I'll finally be able to attend this music festival without getting sick. But yeah.
Second to that, we have decided to get on the wait list for Camp Flognaw.
Yes. While we were in the Comfort Inn.
We were in the comforts of the Comfort Inn.
I was able to be like, look, we were bringing up festivals. We're like, I have to see music. I have not seen...
At that point, I was like, I don't even know if I like music anymore. It was like so awful.
We did not go to Chromacopia tour when it came.
Yeah.
We did not go to Kendrick.
That was also the worst part, is that like we had given up other
music
opportunities
yes.
that we wanted to see because we were putting so much money into Bonnaroo.
And because it's like, I felt like we were going to get our fix. Like there's such an eclectic range of music at this festival. So I was like, we're going to be fucking filled up on music for days on this festival. So
for days, bro.
Because that wasn't happening, after you get over a little bit of the devastation, I'm thinking to myself, I still need to see Tyler. I need to see this Chromacopia tour. Like, I cannot end 2025 without seeing this fucking Chromacopia tour. So where else is he playing? What else is going on? I ended up looking at Camp Flognaw, fucking sold out. But I'm like, you know what? It's a 2-day festival. It's in LA. It is, so it's like accommodations and travel, probably relatively easy to navigate logistically. And we don't have to take off any more additional like super time from work like we did with Bonnaroo. Let's get on the wait list, see what happens. I book a hotel that's refundable. I'm like, all right, if the universe says it is to be, it will be. So 2 days later, we're off the wait list. Cards getting charged, and we're going to Camp Flognaw.
Yeah, so good.
You can cut the dog to it. We gon' trap out any city, grab a bow and run through it. I'm addicted to these presents. Every day I get to it. This that money making music. You can move some dollars.
Now let's get to something even more serious, okay?
I was not expecting.
After the Bonnaroo extravaganza that we've had, we decide, you know what we should do?
Treat ourselves.
Treat ourselves to a nice Michelin star restaurant. Now, mind you, one of our companions calls this Michelin star restaurant called the Catbird a day before. I was like, you just casually have a table for 5? And they're like, yep, come on in. You got a reservation. So the day of the reservation, we're exhausted. We're like, do you want to go? She calls them. She didn't get a reservation at this camper. She got a reservation at a sister restaurant that's in the same building called the Patterson House, okay? It's tapas almost. Like, it's mostly, I mean, they have some entrees. It's a small menu. Lots of cocktails. And I don't really like the setup of this restaurant. It's really weird. It's whatever. Like,
we're squeezed into a tiny
at most
2-person booth.
Yeah.
You know? Like 2 people who actually enjoy food and want to eat.
4 normal people, maybe.
Order 5 plates.
It's dark as hell in this restaurant. And I know this is very personal preference. It's not, I don't knock a restaurant for this, but I don't like a place with an open flame, especially on a table for 5, where 5 people are seated when it's really for 3 or 4.
Yeah. I also didn't like that you walked into this restaurant. People are sitting in this lobby. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the other restaurant that's the sister restaurant next door, where there's like maybe like a timed seating or whatever. But you get to the restaurant through an elevator, and this hostess standing at the stand, like some czar, is like, you know, checking people in, but then just leaving them. Like, she's not really like giving much more guidance beyond, like, some people are standing on the wall by the elevator. Some people are going directly into the elevator.
This is pre-elevator. So
yeah. Some people, so it's like,
don't have a good system.
Setup of this place?
You wait by the hostess. So we say, hey, I'm here for my reservation. And she says, okay. And then she mics up to someone, or she walkies up to someone and is like, I have the party here. And waits for them to say they're ready, and then she goes and hits the elevator button for you. It's taking a long time.
But
like,
as you're standing there, I'm noticing, like, some people are just standing at the elevator. She lets some people, I'm like, what is
And the bathroom's upstairs, so now I'm already annoyed because she won't let us go up to use the bathroom. So, fine.
Anyways.
We get to our table. Actually, a few interesting things happen at the restaurant. First of all, our waiter, oh my God, now I'm really remembering how annoyed I am at this whole thing. So first of all, Kiki was doing no alcohol at Bonnaroo until things started going to haywire. I was like, you know, I'm gonna give me a little cocktail. So I order, we are missing some of the people from our party. Me and one other of our companions orders a cocktail. I'm talking 20 minutes later, you know, by this time we've ordered all of our food, whatever. One of our companions then orders her cocktail. So this is the 3rd cocktail we ordered. And he says, oh yeah, I didn't put in the other cocktail orders because I was waiting for everyone else to order. Who asked you to fucking do that? Wwhy would you do that? Why do you, I want my cocktail as an appetizer, not as an entree.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, people need to understand that this restaurant is primarily a bar.
A bar.
Like, it is a bar.
Why, like, no one asked you to do that. That wasn't your call to make. And then I think he waited further until producer ordered a non-cocktail lemonade. And it's like, no one asked you to make sure that all of our cocktail, and mind you, the cocktails weren't even delivered all at the same time anyway. So I don't know why he was trying to, you know, time from the, what do they call it? The pass, all of our drinks coming out. It was really annoying.
The bar is next to us.
Yes.
Like, it is not. I guess it's a fancy.
And now I waited 20 minutes for my drink, only for him to come up and say, yeah, I never put that in because I was waiting to see if this girl wanted to drink. What's wrong with you? Like, I actually think you're a dumb person. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Now I, you know, whatever. So through all of this, we order our food. This is before I realized he didn't put the cocktails in. And we're like, look, we're basically trying one of everything on the menu. Like, pretty close. Like, we ordered a lot. And we're like, but this is a tiny table. Like, can you guys time it so that the food came out? And they did do pretty good at that, I'd say. Minus the fact that my cocktail came as a pre-entree. And like I said, I like my cocktail as an appetizer before I fill up on bread and everything. Now I'm just all sloshing around together. You go downstairs and you have a run-in.
Yeah. Yes, so I go downstairs. It's slightly raining outside, so I'm like kind of walking around. We put in our food order. I'm walking around, checking out the scene. And as I'm walking back to the restaurant, I see, clear as day, a beautiful woman. She's standing there next to the valet cart. She's talking to 2 other people. Now I see this, what I'm going to say is a Southeast Asian woman, because I really like her earrings. I noticed that she has really pretty earrings. And I look over and there's this beautiful woman and I'm like, that is Nicole fucking Kidman. In the flesh, you guys. In the flesh.
So that was cool. I didn't get to see Nicole Kidman.
I walked up. So I turned to producer after we pass. I'm like, that's Nicole Kidman. He looks back. Oh my God, that is. I see these two ladies, young looking ladies. One of them's on her phone. She's talking about how she sees Nicole Kidman. I'm like, that's Nicole Kidman. I can finally fangirl with someone because producer's response was not what I was looking for. I was like, I couldn't wait to go back up to the restaurant and tell you guys. And of course, you all delivered the appropriate response as expected. Okay. So yes, we're at Patterson House. I saw Nicole Kidman. Come back upstairs, tell all of you. Okay, at this point, appetizers have dropped. I don't know if your cocktail's still not there. It hasn't arrived because you're like,
I'm popping off about it.
You are. You're like, I don't want to eat anymore. I don't want to stuff my face anymore with these appetizers if I don't have my cocktail with me.
Yeah, everyone knows that. That's like, I was insane.
I don't know that. But, people have their own I eat my fries first.
Sure.
So, whatever.
Food was okay. Food at this place was pretty good. I got a burger. It was whatever. It was no In-N-Out.
I got a pasta. And then my friends got the pork.
It was
which I
no
also
Whataburger either.
Ugh.
What?
I maybe it's because I always have to get chicken. That Whataburger is whatever to me.
Producer, what do you think? How did their burger compare to a Whataburger?
The entire weekend was a blur.
Okay.
Okay.
But you're saying, so Whataburger is good to you?
It's a burger. That their burger just tasted like a burger. I'm just saying that.
Okay, yeah. For the price, anywhere compared to.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I've had really nice gourmet burgers before, and was that one? No, it was fine enough. I didn't think it was anything super fancy.
Yeah, I thought the pork was really good.
The pork was okay.
The pasta was good.
The pork was okay. I thought the food was just okay. I liked it well enough, but the bill was almost $400.
Which.
And this was before tax. Before tax, this was $400. So here's what happened. We get the bill. We calculate what the tip will be. I want to say the bill's $392 or something.
Okay,
$375. We calculate tip. It comes out to $515. We're looking, and I'm thinking, I'm like, why is the tax almost $100? The tax almost is 25% on this bill.
No, you have to also need to say the person who was paying the bill actually doesn't look at the bill. But I've gotten in the habit of you should always check the receipt. You never know what
we did
bill
check the
they
receipt, and the items were right.
Yeah.
It was when we looked at the tax, because I'm thinking this was after we've already filled out the receipt to tip, but I'm thinking $375 to $550. That's really a lot,
Yeah.
So we look and the taxes are $92. I'm like, that's 25%. That's almost a quarter of the bill. So we call our waiter over, and we're like, what? First, I think we look at the menus and we're figuring out that alcohol's 15% tax in Nashville. And
on top of sales tax.
On top of the 9.75, whatever, the 10% sales tax. So I'm like, okay, 25% for the drinks. But if I calculated, we got the drinks are $16. We got 6 of those. Times 25% is $32. Where's this other $60 coming from if we take that? Basically, they charge us over $40 extra in tax, essentially, is what I was getting. And I'm like, I don't understand where this is coming from.
Yeah.
So we asked the waiter, and he's like, oh, I don't know. I'll let you go ask a question. So he goes to, I don't know what he's doing. I see him tinker at the computer. I see him go back into the kitchen. I see him come back out, unable to answer our question, and then copying an attitude with us. He's like, oh, well, yeah, that's just how it is in the back end. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand how it's 25%. And he's like, well, I don't know payroll. You're getting attitude with me because you're charging me $100 in tax, and I should have a right to ask about that? And he's like, so do you want me to go get a manager? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Because I've never been somewhere. I started looking through my receipts because I keep pictures of my receipts because I travel for work. I'm like, I'm pulling up different states. I'm like, they say sales tax at 8.75%. Everyone tells you where the tax is from. The fact that this just has one line item that just says tax, $92. No explanation of why. So they call who we originally were introduced to as the hostess from downstairs. So the person that pushed the elevator button for us is apparently the manager of this restaurant. And she comes over, doe-eyed,
Bambi in the forest.
What's going on? And it's we explained it to her, and she's like, oh, I don't know. Okay, I'll go check the computers and see if I can pull in the back end what it is. We're like, okay.
This is Mickey Mouse impersonation
Because
voice
I'm
of
so
her.
annoyed and like at what was happening.
Yeah.
So she comes back after, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
With pictures on her cell phone.
Screenshots of this computer
the
system.
The back end system that doesn't tell us the tax amount. What it shows is you paid $15 for French fries and we charged you $3.50 for tax on that. Okay. That's not answering my question. That's just continually showing me a different version of the same problem, which is why am I paying 25% tax on food?
Yeah.
And she's acting like, I don't know, that's just the tax rate. At this point, we've gone to the Tennessee state government, like website. What's the tax rate? Oh, it's 7% plus 2.5% in the middle of Nashville, so that's 9.5%. The 50%, I mean, we've done math for these people. And ultimately, I don't care what the reasoning is. I think anyone that has any semblance of a brain can see, why would you charge someone
wrong? This tax is wrong.
$100 of tax?
Yeah.
It's wrong. I don't care
wrong.
what reason it is, but they're trying to act so stupid. 30 minutes past at this point. No one's able to give us an explanation. Eventually what she does is she just comps us $40 on our bill so that we still are paying this extra tax. And this is in between multiple excuses of like, well, I don't know, and that's just what it is. And we're like, okay, it's not that. We've looked it up. Even if it was that, you should be telling people that you're charging 25% tax on things.
That's crazy.
You should be able to itemize it. You should be able to tell us something. So finally they comp it. We go to leave. Ken uses the bathroom. This hostess manager comes out and she says, oh my gosh, guys, hey, I figured it out. It's like someone in our backend system just changed it and like they itemized every food item as alcohol, so everything was getting charged at 25% tax. But you guys should be happy to know that like we haven't been doing it the whole time we've been open.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, you're in hackers now. All of a sudden you hacked the mainframe and were able to figure out the situation right before we leave. But we should feel good because you haven't been doing this the entire time you've been opened.
Ma'am.
So I look at her. At first I said, was this just our table then? Is that what you're saying? She's like, no, just not for the past however many months we've been open. It's just been, but I'm thinking, how many people have they ripped off, even if it was just tonight?
Yeah. That place was full. I mean, if you're not sitting if you ordered food, basically you were paying 25% tax. Now on the alcohol menu, it tells you.
It does tell you 15
you
plus
have to
the
pay
10%.
an additional 15% as your sin tax, I suppose, in the state. So you know up front that your $16 cocktail is going to come with 25% tax.
Fine, sure, whatever.
Great. But people were ordering food. So to your point, it's like, ma'am, do you not understand that you're talking about tax fraud and possible embezzlement if someone is pocketing those funds to us? And you're telling me that we're the first people to catch this? We're the first people to look at our fucking bills and be like, why is it $100?
We used to include the tax and everything that we charge, and then we stopped doing that. So maybe it's, I don't care about your business, like freaking layout. Lady, you're charging me $100 in tax. So, by the time we get downstairs to this restaurant, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this place? I freaking hate Nashville. So I do have an action item. I am reporting them for tax fraud to the Tennessee state government. And actually, I need to type it up. I'm going to email them. I'm going to email the news. I'm going to email everyone involved. I kept those receipts because that was insane.
And it's like, obviously, you brought this up while we were there. Like, you know, we're in Nashville, Tennessee. We're black. We have braids in our hair. Like, are we getting this like runaround about math? First of all, fucking easy math. We're talking 10, 15%. Those are easy numbers to calculate tax on. So like, are we getting this like ridiculous runaround and like making it seem like we're kind of like a problem table? It's like, they really could, honestly, anyone with a brain could look at our bill and say, oh, you're right. Like, the tax shouldn't be that because you only ordered 6 drinks and that wouldn't come to $100. That's ridiculous. But instead, you know, they do this whole, you know, performance of like standing at the computer, taking screenshots, coming, showing us her phone, like walking by. And it's like, Yeah, I am going to make a big fucking
Yeah.
stink about this because, one, I don't believe that we're the only people to have ever mentioned that because I can't believe that we're the only people to have ever looked at a bill. Two, that comment that, oh, this hasn't been happening the entire time we were open. Bitch, I don't fucking believe you.
Yeah.
You didn't even know this was happening in the first place. Like, because when I told you, you acted
couldn't
like you
figure
had...
anything out, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, I figured it out on the back end. Someone changed something, and like,
Yeah.
oh, now she's a mathematician. Okay.
Yeah, oh, now she understands the fucking issue that we're talking about. So I don't believe you. Why would you tell us that? You're freaking weird. And then 3, like, that's a really convenient like excuse about the whole thing
Yeah.
of like, you know, they kept trying to talk about, well, city tax is this and it's like, lady, first of all, I've become a fucking professional in Tennessee.
In the time that you've been taking pictures of your computer on your phone to bring them to my table that doesn't explain what I've just explained to you,
ChatGPT.
I've already figured out the city tax. So don't try to give me the runaround. It was like the Patterson House in Nashville. You will be hearing from me again. You will.
Yeah.
I'm going to the news. I'm going to the Tennessee state government.
I think that the revenue board needs to hear, like, whatever's going on down there, like, someone's cooking books over there. I don't understand why, but, you know, we're going to find out.
And after all that, we still tipped 20% to that
Dick
of a waiter who didn't put in my drink when I ordered it. Cardinal sin. And decided to cop a freaking attitude with us because I said, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Oh, well, what am I supposed to know about it? I don't know.
I'm
Use
just
your
a
two
waiter.
freaking eyes.
Okay, but you know what 20% is. I'm sure you know when someone tips you 20%
Right.
and when someone doesn't tip you 20%. So why the
It
fuck
was like
don't you
literally
understand
the easiest math
percent?
too because it's like $100 in tax, $400 in a bill. Like it's very clearly 25%. This isn't some crazy. But I'm like pulling up. I'm like, no, but you see, 16 times 6 divided by this. Like, why are you making me? Honestly, you owe me more than the $40 that they cut off of it because I like we were there for.
I've actually become your financial manager.
Yes,
And
I think that they were just hoping that we'd be like, it's okay, never mind. That's what I was hoping. That like they were taking so long to give us an answer, but by that point, because they kept being like, did you want me to check? Did you want me to go back there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I don't care if he's just, and then, ooh, I'm getting mad all over again. Actually, I need to text one of our travel companions to send me the original receipt, because that's the other thing. They took their original receipt, but little did they know we took a picture of it. Then I kept every other receipt. Every other receipt. I'm getting you. Go for you, Patterson House.
They tried it.
Okay.
They don't understand that we have, accountancy is in our blood.
What is it? What is that? What does Jake Peralta say? He's like, I love this. Justice. I love justice.
Justice.
I love justice. So I'm coming for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that was our lovely trip to Tennessee.
Yep.
Scams galore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still owe everyone a Coke taste test. The thought was like maybe we could do this while we were like waiting for the music sets to start, or
I actually do want to say that we said we're gonna vlog at Bonnaroo. We were doing a lot better than we did in Paris. In Paris, we like didn't do crap.
Yeah,
but
I
this
set
time,
it up.
like, yeah,
I had it like recording us setting up our campsite.
Slave labor. She had us recording the freaking labor that we were doing. I did a couple of videos of us walking into Roo, like, look at us, we're walking into Roo. I was a different person back then, you know?
Yeah.
But
So
maybe you'll get some of that found footage style. Because it'll be one of those forensic file episodes or one of those true crime documentaries. Like, they thought it was going to be a great weekend, and it's all setting up the tent in full color, dancing, and then it goes black and white, and it's like, little did they know, the rain was coming. So one day, that's going to be B-roll of the fun we were having at Bonnaroo for all of 2 hours before our life was ruined. And they did come out later and say they're giving 100% refunds, which is more than fair because all I got was this stupid shirt and water bottle that I can't really enjoy, and debt. So I also gained like 5 to 10 pounds. It's hard to say at this point. So, I got fat, I got hooked. The worst fucking fucking trip in the world. I hate it so much.
Yeah, the 75% refund at first was like, okay.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad, you know? Like, we're not going to be out all this money because they do say, like, rain or shine, like, the show will go on. But 75% for the camping, 75% for the ticket. Okay, cool. But as we're in Nashville, as we're, like, traipsing around, like, spending more money on this hotel, food, and in addition to all the other things, I'm just like, actually, this isn't enough.
That's not enough.
I actually feel like I need to go on, you know, watching Judge Judy probably doesn't help because I'm feeling real litigious.
I need reparations.
I'm feeling real litigious these days. I'm planning my case. Yes, Your Honor. Well, the thing is that we actually invested a lot more going and setting up for the festival.
I was talking to someone at my work, and I was like, at my job, we don't accrue PTO. We just take time off.
Yeah.
And I was like, imagine I save my PTO for this.
Yeah.
That's actually like losing money. Now, even though I don't accrue PTO, I still lost money because I still, now it looks like I'm taking extravagant amounts of vacation. But like the last one didn't even count, you know? So.
And that's the situation I'm in right now because my friend and I are going to go to, we're going to go to Hinterland in Iowa. So in addition to, I took off this time for Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo didn't happen. I didn't get the music festival. I have to take off more time. I've already taken off so much time. Whatever. I won't be documenting that because obviously you're not going to be there. But we'll see what happens when the Flog Gnaw lineup gets dropped and announced because we are going to that. We're staying at a 5-star hotel to make up for this experience.
Yeah. Kiki learned her lesson. Never go below your elk or whatever they call it.
Ilk.
Yeah, never go below your ilk. Just stay the course of who you are and who you want to be. Because the minute that you try to go
We're going
outside,
back to Bonnaroo.
I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we're going back to Bonnaroo.
No.
But
I'm guarantee I'm not.
yeah, but what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna pay for one of those $15,000 like we'll set
We're
up the
gonna
RV
invest
for
more
you.
money into it. Smart.
That's your ilk.
I'm not going back to Bonnaroo. Well, thank you for joining us on a recounting of our misadventures.
I think this is a good recap, but I do feel like we're going to have to get into how friends, family, and feelings worked out.
Oh, I didn't start it because I knew that I was going to do this trip in the middle of it, and like I get really stressed out and like distracted when I have travel coming up. So I'm doing it from next Monday until I go to India. And I feel like that's like a good month. So.
Okay, so you have not, so we finished the BBBs.
Yeah, and then we just reversed it all, baby. Just all that progress made in B body and B budget was lost at B Bonnaroo. So there we go. Now we have to start again. Jesus.
Okay, so you'll start the FFFs next Monday.
I don't fucking know. I don't know anymore.
Okay, then I won't check in on that with you until you've done it.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right.
I'm glad this is the last time we'll ever have to tell people that my trip was garbage because
We're just
the
pointing to
festival
this
was
episode.
canceled.
I actually don't talk about that anymore, but you can catch that on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere you stream your podcast if you really want to know how my trip was.
Yeah, you can find out at this episode because I'm done talking about it.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining us on that cheerful note.
Enjoyable recounting of our tales.
Stay pretty.
Stay prideful. Oh! You know what we didn't say? It was Juneteenth. We should, happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
And I will say my weekly in, just as like a random one, because that's what I wanted to talk about, was my weekly in was everyone recounting the amazingness that was the Montgomery Brawl.
Second Juneteenth is what I call
Juneteenth
it.
as part of the Juneteenth celebrations. You had mentioned this on a prior podcast of ours. So I was really enjoying scrolling TikTok on Juneteenth and seeing a lot of people bringing that
Matter of
up.
fact, let me go back to some of them original videos.
Yeah, in
the
fact,
different
I need to
angles.
go find him.
Matter of fact, let's make a tattoo appointment. We need a little ankle folding chair right here. You know that'd be. People need to know. Ooh, a necklace. I'll just a folding chair necklace.
Oh my God, is it going to replace the Black Power Fist? For our generation?
A double. They had like Black Panther's mask to it too. Black Panther, Black Power Fist, folding chair, the trifecta.
What about a baseball cap? Okay, we gotta connect.
Happy Juneteenth.
Yes, happy Juneteenth, everyone. Stay pretty.
Stay prideful.
Especially
You can't finesse. Bitch, I move smart like a motherfucking Tesla. I'm clutching this Glock, do I look like a wrestler? Get put on your back, tryna act like a flexer. Hold on, wait, this Glock take him out like a date. She give me the pussy, I just want the face. Fuck her real good, put the bitch in her place. I'm high in the bitch, but my mind up in space.